letting me know that the audio was not working. Otherwise, I would have continued for the next 1 hour without audio, and that would have been really terrible. I would have had nightmares about it. I'm going to go to my live and just ask you guys if you're able to hear me. Okay. Hopefully, I can. All right. Okay. So, welcome to the Lionsgate portal live on August 8. So, what exactly is special about today? Today is the day when our sun aligns with the star Sirius with our planet Earth. It's also 8 which represents abundance, new cycles, a great time for manifestation, to call in something new into your life, to clear off the old energies, and so on. Coincidentally, this month, the theme that I've been going through personally in my life is about being authentic and speaking up about how I feel and my truths, and to get over this fear of being visible or being seen, which is why I decided that today we would speak about, hi, love. Today we would be speaking about how to get over your fear of being visible or seen. Because what if this is the exact fear that is blocking you from attaining your soul's purpose? So, can you hear me? I hope you can. There was some technical difficulties a little bit earlier, but we don't have that anymore, hopefully. So, I'm going to share my screen because I prepared a presentation, and I feel like that is a little bit more professional, better way, a more nicer way, or rather give justice to those of you who would be joining. So, let me know when you can see my screen. Okay. I am extremely surprised at what my higher self does, because my higher self, right, pushes me to do things that I wouldn't have ever thought would be possible. I whipped up this presentation within like an hour, and I think I'm excited to share the same with you. So let me know when you can see my screen. I also want to check. All right. Hi, Vishwa. Okay, you can see my screen as well. All righty. Perfect. But I'm a little bit on the side. Let me just move. Okay. All right. So today we are going to be talking about, what if your fear of being seen is the only thing that is blocking you from your destiny? The reason why I even came up with this is because I recently went for a Reiki session, and the Reiki master, the healer who was doing Reiki on me, said that the first thing that is stopping me from the potential that I see in myself, or the potential that I see for the channel, or in every other aspect of my life, is my fear of being visible. And this prompted me to dive into this fear. What exactly is this fear? Why do I have this fear? We may often think that fear is just something, oh, because I'm just afraid, I'm just an anxious person. That is not true. If you look at every child out there, every child is just born fearless. So, at what point in life do we start becoming afraid of being seen, afraid of our imaginations, afraid of the things that we want to create in life? If we figure out the exact stage at which this fear came into our ego and our self, we can nip it in the bud, get it out of the system, and attain the potential that we are here for, right? Which is why I started to dive into it, and I came across certain revelations, which is now what I'm implementing. And in fact, this live that I'm doing right now is me getting over that fear of being visible, of being seen, and of speaking up what I feel. So, what are we talking about? If you are someone, who is this entire presentation for? If you are someone who's destined, or if you're someone who constantly wants that more peace, more joy, more abundance, more potential, and you feel like there are some blockages in your life which is stopping you from attaining this, then this masterclass is for you. If you're tired of being afraid to speak up, if you're tired of being misunderstood all the time, if you're tired of choking up when you want to communicate how you feel to your partner or to your parents or at work, to your colleagues, to your friends, in your friend circles, or anyone you meet, you're just afraid of just speaking up exactly how you feel. Or you say something and then you go back home and you realize, I shouldn't have said that. I should have said it as A, point B, point C, and then you start talking to yourself about how you could have said that entire conversation in a better manner, then this is for you. If you are someone who is afraid of being too seen or too visible or too famous, then this masterclass is for you. And what are we going to learn today? I'm going to shed light on all of those hidden shadows that are stopping you from achieving your soul's purpose. And I'm going to share real life examples from my own life story, which I think would be this, which is what is entertaining, right, for everyone, so that you would be able to understand how this can be implemented in your life as well. Also, at the end of this whole thing, this presentation, you'll also be able to ask questions. And also, even if this is happening right now, if at any point you want to share your story, ask questions, please go ahead and drop it in the chat. I may have to switch screens. So, in case I'm not responding immediately, just wait for me to come back to the screen because there are two screens that to look at. Okay. That's good that you say that this is for you, because this is for a lot of the people on the planet. So many of us on the planet are afraid to speak up. It's because this has been subconsciously ingrained into our head. And when I tell you why during the course of this masterclass, you'll be able to shed light on it, alchemize it, and get this fear off of your system forever. In return, I ask you to interact with me, ask your questions in the chat, share your life story, because this keeps it a lot more entertaining. And that's all. So, what exactly is the Lions Gate, which is what I've already spoken about? So, we'll move on to the next one. Who am I? I am Tanya. In case you're new to the channel, you're seeing me the first time. My name is Tanya Stanley, and I'm here to wake up this divine rebel in you. You no longer have to play small, be the kind, nice, good person anymore, and just be the one that you are here for. And if you are someone who is done playing small or done choking on unspoken truths and you're ready to share your voice with the world, then the Celeste Evolve podcast is for you. This YouTube channel is founded by me, called the Celeste Evolve podcast. I like to call it the number one consciousness podcast. I don't know what makes a podcast number one in my life. This is the number one thing. Okay. From morning till night, I just think about the podcast. So it is the number one consciousness podcast. And this is where spirituality gets a backbone. This is the podcast where I ask all the questions that is there in everybody's mind, or the questions that we should have been asking, instead of the stupid questions that we think about, which is, okay, and when am I going to retire? I mean, who knows when you're going to retire? What if I die tomorrow? Fine, if I'm going to die tomorrow, then how do I know what's out across the veil? Those are the questions that we need to understand, right? Because this is the stuff that every single person has to deal with. Instead, it's about, oh, how am I going to, oh, what is happening on my social media? What is the next thing that I'm going to buy? When is the next sale happening? What are the discounts that's happening? Who cares? Why does it matter? So, in my life, I used to be that person. I used to be the person who used to focus on the things that did not matter. And now it's changed. Now I don't pray anymore. I declare. I say, thank you, God, for the thing that I'm receiving today, for the experience I'm receiving today, for the obstacles that you're removing from my life today. I'm able to change the reality just through my frequency and vibration. And it's a powerful feeling to have. And I want you all to experience that same divinity and sovereignty in yourself, because you do not have to live your life in fear. But this wasn't me always. Now, this is me. This was around a few years back when I was 20 or 30 kgs. I don't think it was 20, it was 30 kgs heavier. I have just gotten divorced. I was stress eating at the same time. I just had my daughter. I was struggling financially and terrified of not knowing where my life was headed or how I'm going to handle this whole situation of being a single mother and all of those, what adulthood was, because this is me at the age of 27. I'm now 33. I was penny pinching every dirham, which is the currency of UAE, because I did not know when to pull back and when to spend. When is it okay to spend? When am I spending too much? When am I being ungrateful about the money that I have? What if someday it's all going to get over and end? That was me before. I was scared to speak my truth. And I always wanted to be invisible because I got sick of being so visible. And I assumed that all of this problems happened in life because I was too visible, maybe because this was evil eye. I had completely lost my faith in God. I did not believe God existed anymore. I believed the only thing that worked in the universe was physics, quantum physics, manifestation. That's it. Laws of the universe. There was nobody up there who actually cared about me or my life. Which is why today I am passionate about showing you a way you could also stop playing small or walk your life confused, thinking that you're all alone in this journey when you could command your reality and live a life of pure bliss. So I'm going to share today few steps on how to embody this divine frequency. There's no four steps. I think there are so many steps. I don't know why I wrote four steps, but there's a way to embody this divine frequency, which is the ultimate goal of why we came here, to embody this divine frequency. You are already divine. I am already divine. But am I walking like I have realized I am divine? If you don't walk like you embody the divine frequency, then others are going to shit on you. I'm sorry, but that's the truth. But if you walk with your head held high, knowing clearly well who you are, your life is smooth, easy, and wonderful. So let's talk about mistakes first, specifically the top three mistakes that keep us stuck in survival mode. The first one is believing that you are born a sinner and born imperfect. I'm going to quickly check out also the chat to see if there's any new comments. All right, that's it. So, why do we talk about this? Because the first thing that happens when you are made to believe that you are imperfect and you're born a sinner is that you would think that there is a massive separation between you and God. And this is like the best thing all the religions have done. Great job at it, okay? With Christianity, let's say for Christianity, we are taught that babies are born with original sin. Yeah. From the time that we are born, we carry the sins of our parents. And then we have to baptize this child so that that sins of the parents can be washed off of this child. Which God would say a baby that looks so beautiful and wonderful as something with original sin, something that is imperfect, something that needs to be cleansed and prayed over and done all of that stuff? Like who, which God would say that? Well, in Christianity, this is the case. You're born with original sin. So there itself, from going to church, you are made to believe that you are less than and there is something wrong with you. Then, when I gained some level of growth, when I hit my teenage years, my years of puberty, the church teaches you that you need to now confess your sins every week. If you have feelings for the opposite gender, that is a sin. If you explore your physical body, which every child does, when they reach that age of puberty, when your body is changing, when your hormones are up and down, you start to explore your body and you also start exploring others body, because this is new. This is like not the 100th time I'm having this body. This is the first time I have this body, so naturally I would be curious about it. Naturally I would be curious about the opposite gender. But the church teaches you that this is a sin. So now I have to go and wash away these sins every week. I'm like this pure, pristine white cloth that gets dirty everywhere I put it. as if I have no immunity, as if I have no angels or God or anything in me to protect me from anything. So, this is again the second way in which they make you feel like you're completely sinned, guilty. From there, your level of self worth and your level of confidence keeps going down and down and down and down, because we are also taught that when you pray to God, that is when you get all the things that you want in life, such as good grades, a good university, a good job, some good salary, good clothes, great body, good health, everything God provides. So you cannot displease God. So what do? Keep confessing. Go and confess every week. Then comes the time, and then they say about sex, completely wrong, a very bad thing to do. If you want to do it, then come join a church or join a religious organization so that we can sign this contract, make a paper, and finally you're free to do it. So when you step out of it, you realize there were so many things that was wrong in the way they tried so hard, in fact, to make you feel like you're less than. The problem that happens with this is that the separation or the distance between you and God becomes too high. You will never believe that God would actually speak to you. You will never believe that God would actually communicate with you. Why, right? Because you are so filthy, so dirty, so full of sin. So why would God talk to you? And this is where our separation happens. Now, if we continue to live our life this way, what would happen? We will continue to resort to external sources for validation and information. If you are not in touch with God, if you do not know that God is within you and you're not listening to those voices or nudges of God within you, then you're going to seek external sources for joy. You're going to seek your body to look aesthetically pleasing or to hit a certain BMI or a certain weight for you to feel like you are worthy of love, or maybe expensive clothes, makeup, hair, etc., to again make you feel like you're worthy of love. Or you would probably look into different sources, Google. Now it's AI. Oh my gosh, it's AI now. Every single child is resorting to AI because that is where they get the information from. They don't even listen to their parents anymore because parents don't even know where AI is. Like, I mean, I personally didn't know that WhatsApp had its own AI, that there was a Meta AI. My daughter was already speaking to Meta AI and she was having jokes. She's like laughing with the AI, and I didn't even know it existed. So you see, we would start to resort to these external sources, people, for validation, to clear our queries. And will we ever be satisfied? Will we ever feel at peace or calm? No, because nobody else knows what is good for you other than yourself, because you are the one living your life. Everybody's soul has going through different stages of evolution and growth, and you wouldn't know what my soul is going through, and I wouldn't know what your soul is going through. Nobody knows this other than yourself. And when we live a life like this, where we are not in touch with our authentic divine self, what we are, who we are, then we will continue to attract unaligned or misaligned relationships, friendships, job, home, different things which is not aligned with who you are. Because if you are not living your life aligned with who you are, and if you don't know who you are, then how can you attract the right person into your life? You will think, oh my god, that friend is so fake, she only cares about that, this, etc., she's so fake. Well, guess what? She's in your life because you are fake. I used to be that person. I used to say that I don't have any friends because I'm too picky and I'm too high standards, and everyone else around me is fake. When in reality, I was the one that was fake. I was afraid to be my authentic self, which is why I attracted people who were attracted to that character that I was playing instead of who I was. When I didn't know who I was, how would they know? I'm going to open the chat. So we have, I think, Sandhya saying that only few days ago I realized God's love is unconditional and that He's here to love me as I am. Whatever you talk makes so much sense, and also voice my thoughts too. I choke on my thoughts too, and it's the way we were brought up, especially being Christians. 100%. That's absolutely true. So, what would happen when we finally stop making this mistake, when we finally stop trying to fit into someone else's perception of who we are, and when we stop trying to think that we are less than, or we are a sinner, or we are guilty of something? We would start living a life of pure joy and peace, because now you know clearly well that you made the best decision for your soul's journey. Personally for me, I was I had put on weight and I wanted to lose weight. It's a very simple thing. I wanted to lose weight, and I started to look into everything on Google and on YouTube, etc., for losing weight. And everyone says the same thing, right? Lift more weights, do 10K steps, then cut down on calories, do that, do this, hit the macros, eat more protein, etc. And I did all of it. And what happened was I couldn't stop binge eating. I was all constantly hungry, constantly craving food, constantly feeling bad about the fact that I couldn't control eating food. What's wrong with me? And then I decided to just sit in a meditation and channel and ask my higher self, listen, what should I do? What should I do? I'm putting on weight. My higher self told me to do yoga. Now, this freaked me out because there is no research whatsoever that says that yoga would help you lose weight. I put the watch on to track the calories you lose when you do yoga, and it's barely anything. So, yoga, and when I started to take it up seriously, the masters, Ashtanga Yoga masters, said that when you're doing yoga, you focus on yoga. You don't go do walk, you do nothing else other than yoga. So, how do I do this? But I decided to just trust my higher self and do it anyway. What happened at the end of 3 to 4 months of me doing Ashtanga yoga was that the toxins in my body got cleared off. My gut health improved and increased. When the toxins get cleared off from your body, that is when you would stop binge eating or craving anything. Suddenly, my cravings for fried food or sugar, sweet, etc., just ended. I was able to feel at calm and at peace. And if I'm calm and if I'm peace and my emotions are regulated and I'm grounded thanks to this Ashtanga yoga, then I wouldn't crave anything, right? I'd never had to go and do 10K steps plus do 1 hour at the weight training and then tire my body. And obviously, my body would be craving food. So, this is what happens when you start tapping into your higher self and you start tapping into God, the divine frequency, because the message or the answer that comes through will be completely different from all of these external sources that you try to get to. If you try to look into AI will also not never suggest Ashtanga yoga to you if you tell AI that I want to lose weight, right? And that's what makes us different, unique, divine. The second thing is every relationship and opportunity would be aligned with your authentic self. Once you start vibrating at the frequency that is authentic to you, watch how everybody that is not aligned with who you are just drop off like flies. Suddenly, you would have no friends at all. Okay. And this is not a bad thing. This simply means that you're aligning with this is just you making way for all the new good aligned friendships to come into your life. So in the initially everybody just falls off, and then the right friendships come into your life. It would be the right job, it would be the right person. It would be very impossible for you to actually keep anyone who's not aligned with you. And the third thing is that God becomes your best friend. Before I ventured into this path, I felt like I was completely alone. There was no one who's going to support me. I don't know how I'm going to live my life. And my only hope was in the 401k or the mutual funds that I put my money in. This was my hope. I believe that someday these mutual funds and the savings account is what's going to help me out. But now, after I got into spirituality and I cleared off these junk and gunk and got to know God better, I realized that there is help everywhere. There's this constant support of God, angels, ascended masters, people, so much support. You are never alone, not even for a second. So, what should you be doing? What you should be doing is understand that God is not far away from you. This is the first thing, okay? Because God is and will always be within you. He would be in front of you, guiding you, behind you, guarding you, above you, guiding you, blessing you. He is always with you. Now, in order to hear God, you would have to cut off all the toxins. You have to cut off everything that is noise. You cut off the junk food, because sometimes smoking, weed, drugs, vape, sugar, food, these could be things that would also stop you from understanding what you really want. Because let's say you are feeling agitated or you're feeling like you're craving, that is actually an emotional trigger that is trying to tell you that there is something wrong at the deeper level. But if you're going to suppress it by food, then you will not know what your soul is trying to tell you. So you cut off all of these things. You cut off the people who tell you to, fake it, to be it, to fit in, to not speak up your truth, to suppress your desires, cut them all off. And even sometimes it's the rituals and the ceremonies, the priest, the church, all of these things are also a distraction. Cut everything off so that you can hear God clearly. And this is the first step. I'm going to also go through, check the chat.
Okay.
Okay, let